Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight, we will be playing a scenario entitled The Devil's Cave. It was written by Tyler Hudak, who is also our game master. This is episode 1. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Tyler?
So, you have all been invited into a Miskatonic University expedition to travel to the Cueva de Villaluz, and I'm going to apologize now for any mispronunciations of Spanish or Mexican words off the bat, but you have been invited on this expedition from the geology department of Miskatonic University to help explore the Cueva de Villaluz. Your expedition leader, Diana Boston, is one of the professors at Miskatonic University. She is an experienced geologist, a biologist, and caver, and you've all in some form or fashion worked with her in the past, either as your teacher or as in a professional capacity and so on. And so we're going to kind of start this off where you're all still back in Arkham, doing kind of like a briefing, talking about the upcoming expedition. With you is Diana, who's kind of explaining some of the logistics of where you're going to go, what it's going to be like, and so on, as well as her grad student, Mark Northrup. So with that, why don't we go around and you can kind of introduce all of your PCs. Pete, I guess we'll start with you. And then you can hand it off to whoever you want.
Okay, I'm Justin's assistant. I am studying chemistry, but I need the money, so I'm Justin's a photographer. I'm his assistant. I carry all of his equipment, some of which is very expensive, so he trusts me, I guess.
I'm Justin. I am a photographer. I'm here more on officially to pad my portfolio, which actually means enjoy a vacation in Mexico. So I'm along, I convinced the professor that I was the right person, for the job. You're going to need good pictures. I have experience working, with the type of conditions that we're going to be working with. But yeah, really just here to get away and enjoy a vacation, and keeping a close eye on Pete, because Pete knows how expensive this equipment is. And I mean,
good pictures means good money. Good money
right.
Means National Geographic.
Awesome. Let's go to Leo.
Leo is a small little bundle of joy who is just feeling like he won the lottery on getting to go on this trip. He's going to see the spiders, the gnats, the bats, the bacteria, the midges, the beetles. He's got it all. He's got step by step where he's going to see he's loving life.
Awesome. All right. And then Chris.
I'm Chris Salmon. I'm a geology graduate student at Arkham University. My specialty is actually the Laurentian range in the Canadian Shield. So this is going to be quite the adventure for me to go down into Mexico and see some different rocks.
Awesome. And then last but not least, Chad.
Chad Lockhart of the California Lockharts is also a pretty short man like Leo, but he has a chiseled face, like straight off of a marble statue. He's very excited to actually go out in the field for once, and not just sit around and enjoying himself and slacking off. If this goes well, maybe I'll finally declare my major.
Perfect. And you've all been, like I said, you have all been chosen for this expedition. Now, Diana, who again is the lead of the expedition, she's kind of explaining to you that the reason you're going down to the Cueva de Villaluz is because it's a rather unique cave. It is a cave which has a very hostile environment in it. It basically has sulfuric acid that has conformed into slime on the walls, on the floors, and so it's one of the most unique caves in the world. One of the reasons why you're going to down there is to study the slime within the cave, to see if you can observe anything about it, gather more information about it. Scientists have studied this in the past, and they believe that it's caused by some sort of bacteria that secretes this sulfuric acid. But, again, you're kind of going on behalf of the university to see if you can confirm that. Additionally, in the cave, nobody has ever actually been to the back of the cave, just because the farther you get back into the cave, the more hostile the environment is, to the point where you can't breathe without special equipment. And nobody has ever had that type of equipment before. Additionally, in the back of the cave, or where they think coming from the back of the cave, is this buzzing sound, this like insect-like buzzing sound that anybody who has explored it has heard, but nobody has been able to prove what that is. There's lots of different theories that it could be insects, it could be some geological formations, it could be from the stream that runs through it. And so your goal here is to determine what the source of that noise is. Now, what's allowing you to do this time is you do have special rebreather equipment that was engineered by Miskatonic University specifically for this. And there are a lot of people, or a lot of organizations, that are very interested to see if this actually works, because if it does work in this type of hostile environment, then that means that those rebreathers could possibly be used for other applications, such as in firefighting, in other hostile locations, potentially to filter out toxic gases, things like that. And so there's a lot of people who are very interested in this. But she explains this all to you during the debriefing, and Mark, her assistant, kind of talks and brings up some of these points as well. And at some point, she kind of stops and then opens it up to see if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, what temperatures can we expect? Most caves are kind of cold, aren't they?
Yeah, the cave itself will probably be in somewhere around the 60 to 70 degrees. Now, understand, though, that this is in Mexico in the summer. So outside the cave, it's going to be very, very hot, and probably in the 90s to 100s outside of the shade.
Are you coming with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Diana is going along. Mark is going along. They've already made all the arrangements for you to get down there, everything like that, and so they are absolutely there to lead everything. Yeah, and again, everybody has their own job to kind of do the analysis. Or Pete and Justin, your jobs are to kind of photograph things. Your equipment you've done the necessary precautions to kind of to make sure that your equipment doesn't get ruined in this hostile environment. Things like that.
Cool.
How far are we going to be from a beach? Because I figure as we're down here, that's something that's missing from my portfolio is like, the shoreline. But, are we close enough I can get some of that?
Unfortunately, no. The cave and the village that it's in is a couple hours from the coast, where we'll be in the middle of the jungle. So unfortunately, we're not going to have a chance. Maybe on the way back, if we get done in time, we'll have time to go and head to the coast. But unfortunately, it is nowhere near it.
Where are we going to be staying? Is there a village nearby, or?
There is a small village. So the cave is actually a tourist attraction, as well as the outlying area. There's a lot of like paths through the forest. There's a lot of nature. It's a nature tourist attraction, an ecological tourist attraction. And because of that, in the village that you're going to be staying at, there is a hotel to which you've all had rooms booked.
Well, there you go, Justin. We got Jungle Girls.
Yeah. Now, listen, Pete. It's a tourist place. So when tourists see someone with a camera, they're going to want me to take their shitty phones and take their shitty pictures. You head all of that off.
They're not going to see our cameras.
Yeah, you head all of that off.
I've got I got my knife.
Whatever means necessary.
Actually, it's a good question. Can we take guns in there, or
No, you
There
would
you
have had to already have the permits in place to do that. It's a long process that you have to go through the State Department through. So unfortunately, none of you will be able to take any guns.
so security-wise, Pete? Justin, I'll just stay with the cameras at all the time.
And
I'll
Diana,
sleep with damn things.
yeah, Diana says she's been there multiple times. It's a very safe area. She knows the mayor. She knows the local law enforcement. There's a sheriff that kind of the sheriff is. She explains that he kind of makes his rounds in the area, and one of his kind of like mini offices is in the town. So it is a fairly safe environment. She says that she's never had any issues in any of the previous times she's gone down.
Yeah. Well, the question is, is there any poverty in the area? I'm sure there is.
Yeah, it's not the most it's not like you're going into an upscale area. She said it's not what she would consider poverty stricken, but nobody there is really rich.
Right. Well, our Hasselblad 907X is $13,000 camera, so that could feed them for a year probably on the money they'd make selling that. So we're just secure.
Never set it down, Pete. Just never set it down.
She does say, oh, I'm sorry, go on.
Professor Boston, I was just wondering, are we going to get some orientation on caving? I've done a lot of work above the surface, but very little in caves.
Yes, the good news is this cave isn't like a very dangerous or complex cave outside of the obvious. So it's really going to be more like walking through a rocky trail. She does say it is slippery inside. You will see that as you go through. And she starts describing how the slime, the slime that kind of clings to the walls and to the stalactites are kind of affectionately known as snotites, because it does look like somebody's kind of sneezed all over it. She says that there are also kind of these like puddles of the slime on the floor, which are referred to by a lot of people as phlegm ball mats. These are very slippery. You have to be careful. There is loose rock. So she says you should be okay. Nobody here needs any it needs to be like experienced spelunkers to go in. We're not going to get into anything like that. She says if we do, Mark and I are very experienced. We will either take the lead and have you stay back, or we will make sure everybody's okay.
I have a question about these new rebreathers. Will we have the opportunity to use them for an extended period of time, like 24 hours, or are we more limited in how long we can be in the cave?
She said it's more limited. The air supply within it, or not the air supply. It's not like it's a where there are tanks of oxygen. It kind of filters out the toxic gases. She says that they're good for about 3 to 4 hours. And she kind of demonstrates it to you. It almost, if you've ever seen like the masks that a fireman would wear when they're going in, it kind of looks like that, where it's got like the faceplate that you can see out of. And it's got almost what looks like a miniaturized version of like the World War I gas mask thing there. It's a little bit more complex than that, but she kind of shows you that essentially that's how it works. It uses some special filters. You're taking a lot of extra filters, but the filters only last for about 3 or 4 hours.
And you say that we don't need those until we get towards the back of the cave.
She said you probably don't, but what we'll do is as we go into the first couple rooms that we've explored, we will likely just put them on at the beginning, just to make sure that everybody is able to be okay. She explains that you will absolutely smell the gases, and this is going to help kind of clear that out as well.
It's going to smell like rotten eggs.
Yes.
Yeah. Have these things been tested?
Yes, they have been tested. They've never been field tested, but they have been tested in the lab, and they've all passed with flying colors. So she says, I am very comfortable wearing these. I've done it before. I've been part of the test, so you should have nothing to fear.
Cool. How long till we get there? Or,
in terms of timeline, you'll leave in the morning. It takes it's a good flight. Probably between everything, it's going to take about 6 to 8 hours total trip. Flight wise, and then there is a bus that you'll take from the airport to the village, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive. So it's going to be a long travel day.
Get your books and charge your phones, boys.
Yeah, what's the like cellular signal out there?
There is none.
Oh God.
Ooh,
the
no
hotel
Instagram for me.
Yeah, the hotel does have some wireless and internet connectivity, but it's spotty at best. Yeah,
Okay.
we're she says we are going to be in the middle of the jungle, and you will absolutely not have a lot of the creature comforts that you have here in the U.S.
I was looking forward to live tweeting it, but whatever.
Does anybody got good, not boring book recommendations? Not boring.
Do you find seed-eating bats boring?
as long as they're photographic.
I mean, does it have pictures?
Don't worry, Justin. I'll bring
No.
Jose along.
Okay, no, I have no suggestions. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Justin, I'll bring Jose along.
Okay.
Jose Cuervo.
Yeah. Lots.
All right. You all with that, she kind of concludes the meeting. You'll have if anybody has any other questions, you definitely have opportunity throughout the trip down there to ask them. But the trip occurs the next day. It's no issues flying down. You kind of take a red eye so that you land in Mexico roughly around 6 in the morning or so. You travel from the airport you get on this older travel bus, definitely not anything like a Greyhound or anything like that you would expect. The only air conditioning is when you open the windows, and as you travel through on the bus, you leave the city where the airport is. And within about an hour or so, you enter into the jungle, and the farther or the longer and longer you go, the thicker and thicker the jungle gets, to almost where you're passing a house every once in a while, but for the most part, you're on a bumpy, uncomfortable dirt road going into the Mexican jungle. After about 3 or 4 hours, you kind of lose track of time. And of course, you absolutely do not have any signal, any type of internet signal or cell phone signal. You pull into the jungle, kind of opens up into this village. And the village is actually a lot better than what you expect. As you pull in, there is a town square, which is where the bus kind of pulls up. There is a nice fountain in the center of the town. There is the hotel, which I will describe in a second. And kind of around the town square are a couple roads that lead off to what looks like houses, and a couple smaller stores. Basically, small stores probably for tourists and things and people like that. You do see some of the villagers, or what you suspect are the villagers, kind of walking around. Again, nothing that's too exciting. It's a fairly small village. You also see a police station. And when I say police station, I mean more like think of it as more like a large shed, is about its size. You do see an SUV parked in front of it with that very obviously the police SUV, and the bus kind of pulls up in front of the hotel. The hotel itself is called, I don't want to, El Hotel de la Brisa Fresca, which translates to the Hotel of the Cool Breeze. You suspect that the hotel was probably built in the 50s or 60s and probably hasn't been updated since then. It's painted this very faded pinkish coral color. It doesn't look too bad. You do see a bar, a bar / cafe off the front with somebody kind of standing behind the bar just by himself. Nobody really there. As you pull up, you do see a man standing on the kind of the veranda of the hotel, kind of wearing a very nice suit. The man is, probably about 5'7", 5'8", a Mexican gentleman, wearing a very nice suit, even in this hot weather, and it is very hot outside. He sees the bus pull up, gets this very bright smile on his face, and as the bus stops, Diana gets off as everybody's kind of grabbing their things, and you see them start to converse, and it's very obvious that they know each other, that they've met before.
Are they
welcome
speaking
to
in
Paradise,
English?
boys. I'm sorry.
I walk over to the bar. Por favor, cerveza.
You kind of start getting off. So somebody else asked a question. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Were they? Was she speaking to the fellow in English?
Yes, she is. From what you can tell. In fact, if you want, go ahead and give me a listen roll.
Okay. That is a regular success.
Okay. Yeah, they're speaking English to each other. You can't quite make out exactly what they're saying. They're not hiding what they're saying. It's just hard to hear. You do kind of get the idea that they're talking about the expedition. And you're kind of watching them to try to figure out what they're saying. After, maybe about a minute or so of conversation, you see the man get a little bit agitated. He gets a little bit red in the face, and it looks like Diana is calming him down. And after about a minute, or shortly after that, he kind of calms down. So, but you weren't able to hear what was going on. Chris, as you're walking over to the bar, you get off the bus. And you literally step off the bus, and you hear Mark, the assistant behind you, going, "Hey, Chris, we've got stuff to take off, man. No bars yet. I promise.
Tell him here. I'll help a little later.
Yeah, come on. We've got stuff to do today.
Okay.
Mark,
I know.
Are we staying here, Mark? Are we staying here, Mark?
He says, "Yeah. This is the hotel we're staying at.
Justin,
it's 2 floors."
I'll unpack Justin.
Give me the SL2 while you do that. I'm gonna get some pictures of the village here.
All right, so I get him the Leica SL2.
I'm walking around getting
strap
pictures.
strap on. Jesus Christ!
Got it. Who's the photographer here? Just unload the bags, Pete.
Who will you yell at if you break the damn thing?
Just unload the bags, Pete. And I walk around. I'm getting pictures of villagers.
As you do that, the villagers themselves don't react to it. It's very obvious that they're used to getting the picture taken by tourists. And like I said, the area is actually really nice. At least the center of this town is built up to be a nicer tourist attraction. Go ahead, Justin, and give me a spot hidden though.
That is an 18 out of 60, so that's a hard success.
Nice. So you're kind of taking the pictures, and you've got a good eye for these things. You've had experience taking pictures all over the place, and so you can kind of notice the little details. You do notice that while the town square is nicer, everything has almost like a fresh coat of paint. The side streets that lead off from the town square, and there's only like maybe 3 or 4 side streets, you do notice that the houses there are a bit run down. We're not talking like slums or anything like that, but they're in pretty dire need of repair. So you kind of get the impression that the town center is made up for the tourists, while everyone else is probably a bit poorer than what what they try to make it look to be.
Yeah, I definitely stepped down, not far into that street, but a little bit to get pictures of that. the more rundown portions.
Awesome. So as everybody's bringing things down, Diana says, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Castillo Guarez. He's the mayor of the town. He's here. He's our host here, and he and I have known each other for a number of years, and she just kind of introduces you to him. He puts on this very wide smile, starts shaking everybody's hand, and says, "Well, welcome to the town. Thank you very much. We're excited for you to be here."
El gusto es mío. I'm taking the step.
We're very excited as well.
Very excited.
You're staying in the finest accommodations that the town has. I'm so glad you're here. And in fact, he says, please, I already told Diana this. I want to invite everybody here to my house tonight. We'll have a very nice dinner. I've already set it up. And so, please, after, you do whatever you're doing today, please, I come over. You'll have the best comforts that the town offers.
Hey, Castillo, could you get a quick selfie with me in front of the hotel real quick?
Oh, absolutely. And he kind of straightens his tie, pulls down his suit, puts on his politician smile as you kind of take the photo.
Selfie, I roll my eyes so hard my head follows them.
What rooms are we staying in?
So Diana goes up, Diana, Mark, check you in. You can see that there's one lady at the front desk. And actually, other than and her and the bartender, you really don't see any other workers around. You're walking inside of the hotel. The lobby, again, kind of continues that like 50s, 60s decor. There's some like rattan furniture in there, ceiling fans going. And she comes back to you and hands everybody a key. And you notice that all of you have keys on the second floor. She also Justin, are you still taking pictures, or are you here as well?
I've come inside. I follow the group as they've come in.
So Justin or Pete, she hands one of you a second key and says, "This is a second room that we've gotten for your equipment, so that you can store it in there."
No. Our equipment has to be in the room with us, and
okay,
that's two.
That's fine.
Those twin beds. Not one king size.
Right.
You each have your own room. I mean, you're more than welcome to share a room if you want, but we did get everybody their own rooms.
Oh, the equipment will stay with me then, Justin.
Okay. She said fine. It's there in case you need it. It was part of the expedition. And then Mark says, I also have a key for a separate room, and that's where we'll be storing the equipment for the expedition. And so with that, he kind of leads everybody, has everybody kind of grab some of the equipment. As you load everything off the bus starts up and drives away. You go up to your rooms and kind of drop off the equipment into the storage rooms or the expedition equipment. Justin and Pete, if you want to keep them in your own rooms, you're more than welcome to. But you take them up to the rooms. Like I said, everybody's rooms are on the second floor. And in fact, it looks like you have the entire second floor. So you have a total of 9 rooms. So the 5 of you, Diana, Mark, and then the 2 storage rooms, if you want to use them. There are no elevators. There's only stairs in here. You get up to the rooms, and the rooms are not exactly what you really expected. Definitely nothing that you're used to in the US. Each room contains a bed, a dresser, and a small table. None of the rooms have TVs. But each of the room does have a phone, which goes to the front desk. The room or the air in the rooms, though, is very stifling. It's very hot. Even though there's an air conditioner in there, you kind of expect that the temperature in the rooms probably isn't lower than 85. Yeah, you do. The windows in the rooms do open, so you can open them to get a breeze, and there's a ceiling fan in there as well. Every other room is connected via a shared bathroom as well.
Oh, thank God. Shower?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to check. The first thing I'm going to do is check the water, make sure it's running.
Yep, the water's running. The cold water is actually cold, and the hot water is kind of in between lukewarm and hot.
Right.
I turn off my AC and open the window and turn on the ceiling fan.
It's probably
Down to
hotter
something
outside.
comfortable, tropical.
Yeah, immediately that seems to cool down the room a little bit more than what the air conditioning does.
I'm going to check my bed for bed bugs.
Give me a luck roll.
Oh, no.
We should have Leo check them for bed bugs.
Okay, that is a hard success on luck.
The bed is clean. It looks like the sheets were recently changed, and other than finding some dust and probably like scraps of paper that the maids missed under the bed, you don't find anything else. No bed bugs.
I'm heading down for that beer now.
Sure.
I'm joining Chris.
Okay. Leo, what are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm making sure that all our equipment's nicely sorted, and then I'll do the same, open the windows, get that ready, and then head down as well.
Okay. And then Justin and Pete.
I'm repositioning the most expensive equipment and keeping it in a backpack with me at all times.
Okay.
Justin can do whatever he wants.
I'm topping off a flask with some Jose Cuervo.
Okay.
And if I see Leo in the hallway as we're walking by, I said, "Did you open your window? Did you open your window?"
Yeah, absolutely. Can you believe we got the whole second floor of the best hotel in town?
It's the only hotel in town, my friend. It is the best, but it's because it's the only one.
But the whole floor.
You really like your flora and fauna, don't you? Because you're going to have iguanas in your bedroom tonight.
Oh man, you think that would be great?
I think that when you walk outside, you're going to see in the shadow of every tree is an iguana sitting there watching us.
Yes. I'll be honest, this is like a vacation for me. This is amazing.
And from your rooms, looking out, you can see, into the jungle. One side of, we'll say like half of you on one side of the hallway, you kind of overlook the town square, but the other half, you overlook the town square and kind of the jungle off in the distance from there. The others of you, the hotel, it kind of backs up to the jungle on the other side of the hotel. You are definitely in the middle of the jungle, looking out, over the treetops and everything that you can see. It's nothing but trees for as far as you can see. Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, where is this town in Mexico? I mean,
Yeah, so it's in the Tabasco province or state of Mexico. Well, I'll have to get it. I don't have a handout with it on a map, but yeah, it's. If I remember right, it's about central Mexico.
Okay, so we're not like in the Yucatan.
No, I don't believe so. Or maybe we are.
We're close to it, but we're not actually on it.
Yeah, pretty much west of the Yucatan Peninsula, still bordering on Belize, though. So it's close.
Yeah,
the same
Guatemala
kind of
is not
jungle.
far away.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I
have been there.
Did you say the road was dirt or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'm looking at the float by the side of the road, the rocks that are there, while I'm holding my beer, seeing if there's anything interesting.
Yeah, so the three of you, and whoever else goes, when you go down to the bar, the bartender is more than happy to help you. As you're heading down there, you kind of pass the you pass Diana and Mark, and they kind of let you know, hey, we are going to go to the cave today to do some initial research, but you have a couple hours to kill. It's probably around 11 o'clock. She says that she wants to head over at about 1 o'clock, give everybody time to rest up and all of that. And so you have a couple hours to yourselves. At the bar, the bar itself has a lot of like brand names of liquor that you've never heard of. The beer is, there's some beers that you've heard of before. They've got, what would be popular with tourists like Corona or Modelo and
Dos
things
Equis.
like, Dos Equis. Things like that. So yeah, at least some familiar brands there, and it's actually fairly cheap and somewhat cold. So this is probably the little oasis within the town itself.
Nice.
You've never heard of Samuel Adams?
I'm sorry.
That's our beer.
We can see if bartender tells you. We can see if we can get that in our next shipment. Will you be here in 2 weeks?
I have no idea. I don't think so. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Hope not.
One
Chris,
Pisco sour, please.
and he, pours you a probably pretty poor version of it. He's definitely not a experienced bartender. Most probably used to just either pouring tequila shots, making margaritas, or doing beer tabs, opening up beer bottles and so on. Chris, you said you were going to go to the road. What exactly were you looking for?
I just want to look at the rocks on the side of the road. Sometimes you could tell something about the local geography by looking at the float. That
What's up for the iguanas?
Nothing interesting. Just doing rock jock stuff.
Okay, go ahead and give me a geology roll.
No, I failed.
So you find really what you would expect within the area, even just on the side of the road. Nothing that kind of sets anything out or gives you any idea of what the makeup of the land is, or anything like that. Does anybody want to do anything else kind of in the hour or so that you have to kill?
While still sipping on my drink, I'm going to seek out Diana, and I'm just going to be like, hey, I heard you had some kind of like, for a second there when you were talking to Mr. Aguarez, it looked like things got a little heated. Any idea what that was about?
Oh, it's he always gets a little concerned whenever anybody comes out here to do any explorations within the cave. It's a dangerous cave. It's what she says is what it comes down to. They've had some injuries in the past. Some people disappear, although those are normally tourists. So he always gets a little bit on edge. And really, that's all it is. There's also some local superstitions about the cave, and folklore. The locals have come up with. So I'm sure that kind of plays into it as well.
Well, if it wasn't dangerous, then it wouldn't be fun.
Exactly. I mean, she starts to get really excited, and we're going to be going into this cave and exploring into areas that nobody has ever done before. This is amazing, and she kind of starts getting really excited about it, and kind of going on and on. And I have to imagine your eyes start to glass over a little bit. So,
cheers to that, and I'm going to chug the rest of my shot.
all right. She sees you do that. She's, I would slow down on that. It is very hot. We want you to stay hydrated. And we're going to be going in the cave, and it's going to be a little bit of hard work. So I'm fine with the celebratory drinks of getting here, but let's hold off until for the rest.
I only planned on this one.
Oh, perfect. And I will absolutely join you later, she says, for a drink. Anybody else would like to do anything?
I'm doing my job, just keeping an eye on the equipment.
I think I'm just sitting near the bar, but just drinking out of the flask, not purchasing anything.
I think my general attitude is if I see anybody, any strangers, any tourists or anything walking towards us, I'm going to keep an eye on. I don't want no pickpockets or people coming up to me and slicing my bag and stealing my stuff.
You know what? Give me a spot hidden roll.
Oh,
I'm probably also just strolling around town. And if I was to do that, do I need to roll spot hidden as well?
No.
I got a 17 out of 60, so that is almost an extreme.
So as you're kind of sitting and kind of watching, you really don't see any tourists. And in fact, you're the only ones here who you would consider tourists. Now, granted, it's the middle of the day. It's very hot out, so there's very few people out. But everybody that you see walking around are very obviously locals here. There doesn't appear to be anybody else.
Can I assume that this is kind of an off season because it's so damn hot?
That's a pretty safe assumption. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I said still goes. If a stranger is anywhere around, there's the old thing where if you've got your backpack on, people will come up behind you and slit the bottom of your backpack and get all of your stuff as it falls out. I can't let that happen. So I don't have any animosity towards anybody. It's just I'm not going to let that happen. I'd have to pay for the equipment.
I can kind of imagine that you're sitting in there, kind of darting your eyes around.
Yeah, I've got it probably setting now on the ground in front of me, and where my legs are wrapped around it. Other than that, I'm lightly drinking also.
Okay. Chad, as you're kind of walking around the town square, there's a couple places that you could go if you wanted to. There's like a kind of like a mini equivalent of like a convenience store. There is the sheriff's office. It looks like, as far as you can tell, he's in there. And basically, yeah, they're and like I said, there's a couple kind of locals kind of wandering around as well, a couple kids playing and so on.
I do have some points in Spanish. So if people were speaking in Spanish, do I happen to hear any interesting conversations?
The conversations that you hear are mostly just kind of day-to-day banter. Go ahead and give me a listen roll. We'll see if you kind of pick up anything interesting, as you're kind of walking around and looking.
I rolled a 46 on 45, so I'll spend 1 point of luck to make that a success.
Yeah, and remember, you can always spend luck. You can always push your rolls and so on. But you, as you're kind of walking around, you pick up bits and pieces of conversations here. There's like maybe 4 or 5 people that are walking around. Most of them are, people just saying hi, how are you doing, things like that. You do kind of walk past this couple that's talking, 2 gentlemen, and you kind of make out, again, you're not completely fluent in Spanish, but you make out that somebody says, one of the guys says to the other, he's asking about the missing tourist, and that's kind of all you can pick up with it.
When I hear that, I'm gonna look at him with a bit of a raised eyebrow, and I'm going to approach and attempt to say in Spanish, "Missing tourist? What's up with? There's a tourist that went missing." I do have a 41 in Spanish.
Okay, you roll. No, you can absolutely do that, but go ahead and give me a charm roll.
That's lucky. That's the one social skill that I put points into. That is a 17 under 65.
Okay,
so that's a hard.
He kind of looks a little taken aback that you ask him about this, but pretty quickly he kind of changes any negative demeanor and says, "Oh, yes, I'm sorry. There was a tourist who was here a couple," and he's saying this in Spanish. There was a tourist here a couple weeks ago who went missing, and I don't think that he has been found yet. I know the sheriff was looking for him, and he kind of reaches down into his pocket, pulls out a paper, and says, there's an article in here from a couple of days ago about it." And he hands you over the paper. Give me 1 second, and I will give you this.
I'll pass him a couple bucks.
Oh, he says, "Oh, no, not necessary. Thank you very much." But he says, "I'm sorry. Are you here as to visit our town?"
We're just going to be visiting a cave for a bit of a geological study. The Cueva de Villaluz.
Oh, yeah. And the other gentleman who's with him, he kind of gets this shocked look on his face. And the one that you're talking to, he very quickly does the sign of the cross. He says, "Please," he puts his hand on your shoulder. "Please be careful. Please watch out for El Diablo."
All right, I'll be on the lookout for any Diablo running around.
Yeah, and he says, "Please, this is very important." This he kind of looks around to make sure that nobody's kind of watching him. And he says, the devil, he lives in the cave. Please be very careful. And with that, he kind of does another sign of the cross, and that both gentlemen kind of slowly start to actually give. Everybody give me a spot hidden roll. I'll say that, since all of you are kind of in the general area, you could see Chad walking around.
I'll spend 3 points of luck to make that a success.
So Chris, Chris, Justin, and Pete, you failed. Leo, you made it?
I got a hard success. If
Awesome.
an extreme would matter, it's 1 point of luck away.
No, it won't. So, Chad, the two gentlemen, they kind of start to walk away. And Leo, you were just kind of, watching, looking at the plants and that, and you kind of noticed Chad, talking to these two gentlemen, and you see, you can't hear the exchange, but you see it happen, and you can see how the gentlemen, they, slowly start kind of walking away, and both you and Chad, you see that as they start walking away, they're kind of glancing up and almost like they're looking at somebody. And as you follow their gaze, you see that the sheriff is standing in the doorway to the sheriff's office, looking at them, his arms crossed. He looks a little bit unhappy. And then the two gentlemen with that, they kind of turn away and kind of hurryingly, walk away.
With the newspaper in hand, I'm just going to go back to like the hotel lobby area and kind of seek out the others when they're there.
Okay.
And be like,
I
"Hey,
think we're
this
still in
article."
the bar.
Yeah, I think everybody is kind of, in
It's
that
hot.
area. So you should be able to.
Another tourist disappears in Via Luz. Within the last several months, many tourists have disappeared in or around the town of Via Luz. Last week was no exception when George Bowler disappeared while vacationing. Sheriff Garza was quick to explain that many of the tourists that have vanished have done so because they have wandered off the approved trails into the jungle. There are many dangers in the jungle, he said. Not only can one be harmed by the wildlife, but there are many caves and sinkholes in the area which one could fall into and be injured. The jungle is also very thick and is difficult to search through. Mayor Castillo Juarez disagrees. What our sheriff refuses to believe, Mayor Juarez said, is that there is a curse upon Cueva de Villaluz. He has not seen the acid-dropping hell that it is. The devil lives there and does not like to be disturbed. Anyone who enters the cave will become the devil's victim. The citizens of Villaluz agree with the mayor. Regardless of the reason, Bowler has yet to be found. Last week, a search party organized by the sheriff yielded no results, as did previous searches. When asked, the sheriff said they would do as much as they could, but at this time, the outcome did not look promising. When I get inside, I'm going to approach the bar, article in hand, and kind of like tap on the shoulders of those present, say, "Hey, I spoke to a local, heard an interesting rumor. Check this out." And I'm going to present them the newspaper. Guy swore that the devil lives in that cave.
Well, that
Yeah,
explains
but-
why the sheriff was giving him the stink eye. I was wondering what you were talking to them that had him looking at you that way, but it sounds like the sheriff doesn't like the bad press.
They're all superstitious Catholics.
I'm
And-
I'm rather surprised that the mayor believes there's a curse.
They're all superstitious. You know what? It's a freaking jungle. It's like I'm surprised that 50 people a year don't go missing in the jungle. They probably don't because these people know the jungle pretty well. They've lived here their whole lives. But tourists go missing in the United States all the time in just, parks. So
And listen, it's a small village, small tourist village. Curses play well in places like this for tourism. People eat that shit right up.
ghosts in the hotel hiding in your room.
I'm surprised our hotels, they're not telling us it's haunted to stay away from the 13th room on the 4th floor or whatnot.
Or the old lady down the street, she's a bruja. She's going to cast spells on you.
To be fair, we have not asked.
Do you want to
Ask
ask
what?
Leo? You want to ask around if it's
I
haunted?
kind of do.
As long as we stick together, we're going to be fine. Do they have, I don't know if they have wild animals. I mean, I know they've got small wild animals, iguanas and coatis and stuff like that, but I don't know if they've got jaguars or.
I wouldn't be
Jaguars are
surprised if there
dangerous.
were howler monkeys out there.
I'm thinking about something that could snap your neck and drag you up a tree.
Well, the thing about howler monkeys is when they're in the trees, the noise they make sounds a lot like a jaguar.
But the howler monkeys, I don't know. I'm not a biologist. Where are they from? They're not from Africa?
Leo would know.
Yeah,
But
Leo gives the appropriate answer for where they're from.
So as I look around at the bar, do I notice any, young men or women are my age, 25-ish?
No, other than the people who are with you, you are the only, and the bartender who's there, you are the only ones in the bar.
So your only choice is the bartender if you're interested. But
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Nice.
they probably know what happened to some of these folks if they were talking about where they went. This is the only hotel, as you mentioned, Pete.
Leo, I look at the jungle out there. I think the guy could wander 20 feet away from the edge of the path and die, and nobody would know it until he started smelling.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And then it's really exciting. Think of all the little creepy crawlies all over that
Yeah.
dead body.
Right. As you're having this conversation, the time kind of wanes on a little bit, and before you know it, Diana and Mark are coming down, and they kind of rouse everybody, tell everybody it's time to head over to the cave and to do kind of your initial kind of day one exploration. She explains to you that you're not going to be going too far. She just wants you to see the cave, to try the equipment out, make sure everything's working after the trip, and so on.
Are we going to be there after dark? Do we need to?
No. She says that you'll only be there for a couple hours, and then you should be back long before dark.
Okay, Justin, do you want to take pictures today, or do you want to just set things up so that we can see what kind of shots we can get later?
And bring everything. I might take pictures, probably just the Hasselblad in lower light conditions, but bring it all. But I'll probably just use the Hasselblad, but pack it all. Okay.
Tripods, the light. Okay.
Speed lights, strobes, pack it all.
All right. So you kind of pack everything up. Unfortunately, you have to carry everything. There's no cars. The bus that you had left. Diana had mentioned that you would have known this, that the expedition is to last about a week, and then the bus will come back to get you when it's time. You start walking towards the cave, and the way that you do that is you start walking down the road out of town, and eventually, after about a 5-minute walk from the town, you get to this path with a sign that kind of points to. It has like one of those little trail maps that kind of points to the direction of the cave, and you start going into the jungle on this trail. And the trail is it's a dirt trail, but it's nicely kept. It's not like it's washed away or anything like that. And for the first probably 10 minutes into the jungle, you're really just surrounded by jungle, and it really hits all of you just how thick this jungle is. You can see maybe off the trail, maybe a couple feet into the jungle, and then it gets very dark, it gets very thick, and you can absolutely understand how if somebody were to go off the trail, they likely would get lost pretty easily. Yeah. But as you're going through the jungle, after about 10 minutes, the jungle starts to, or sorry, not the jungle, the path starts to go parallel to a stream. And the stream, when you first encounter it, is kind of a nice stream. It's got almost like this whitish quality to it, but the farther you travel and the longer you follow it, you can see that the stream itself is starting to get more and more white, almost to the point where it gets this very milky color.
And I use my chemistry to make a, like, whether it's safe to get on you or.
Yeah, absolutely.
28, and my chemistry is impossible to see. 70, so I got a hard.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell that just by looking at it, and you are starting to get a little bit of this sulfur smell the farther along you go, that it's probably not, you definitely don't want to be drinking it.
Right. Yeah.
It's probably okay to get on your skin for short periods of time. But the farther and farther along you go, you do start to see it get, very, very white, very, very, almost it looks like some of the milk, or I'm sorry, the stream is made of milk. Leo, you're seeing that, there are fish in the stream, even as you get closer to the cave. And that's one of the things that Diana would have pointed out to you, that even though this cave is very toxic, it's a very toxic environment, there are animals that live in there. There are bats, there are fish, and so on. And so it is something that, it has kind of fascinated everybody. But as you go along the trail, as the stream becomes more white and milky, you do start to smell this like rotten egg smell in the air. And before you know it, the trail kind of opens up into a partial clearing in the jungle, and you can see the entrance to the cave in front of you. The cave itself is almost like a mountain of rock that has just kind of appeared out of the jungle. There is a entryway in the cave that goes into it. The stream is coming out of the cave, and Diana kind of gets near it, kind of sits down her equipment and says, all right, this is it. If everybody can kind of start gathering your equipment and getting ready, we'll start, everybody will suit up and or get ready and we'll go in.
Just snap at Pete. 907X.
Yeah. Hold on. Takes me a minute to unpack it. Don't snap at me. I've carried this fucking pack all the way over here.
I appreciate that, Pete. I apologize. I'm just excited. I want to get everybody. No, wait back, everybody, please. I want to get it just of the cave only. Just one shot of the. All right, one shot of the cave only.
Strap on.
God damn.
While he's taking those photos, behind him, I'm taking a selfie with him and the cave in
it. Do you have a selfie stick?
Probably.
I think that causes Justin to die a little bit inside when he sees that.
Yeah, turn around and he's like, God damn it. Are you really?
Yeah, why not?
Your phone?
This is awesome. Listen, you've got photos for National Geographic. I've got photos for Instagram. We're two different worlds here, bud.
Oh yeah, we really fucking are. Yeah, we really are.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the rocks to see if there's anything that stands out other than the norm of what I'm expecting for a limestone cave.
From the outside of the cave, no. Everything looks like what you expect. I mean, it is new. It is unique. You can kind of just glancing into the cave, and the cave gets very dark pretty quickly. But you can kind of see the whitish slime on the floor and the ground and the walls and some of the rocks, as even just looking from the outside. So it's definitely more than what you expected, more than what Diana described.
Yeah, Leo is like as fast as he can. The helmet's on, the pads are going on,
Totally.
assuming galoshes. Yeah. It's guys, we don't have time for photos. The faster we're in there, the sooner it's slime time.
Totally.
Listen, we've got a week.
Yeah, but you don't know how deep we're going. A week might not be enough.
I call bullshit. Every scientist I know is extremely patient and meticulous. Why
Did you
are
say
you in such a rush?
I'm only a grad student.
Graduate students, man, we're ready to go.
Did you
Yeah,
say
let's rock and
slime
roll.
time?
Yeah, slime time. You've heard of the flim balls.
I mean, I've heard of like Double Dare and slime, like Nickelodeon.
Don't get this on you. I don't think it's that kind of green slime.
Okay.
Although I guess I never checked.
And Mark is kind of listening to you, to your conversation, and he goes, "Yeah, this is not. You don't want this, slime poured over you." And he kind of explains that you can get it on you, you can touch it, but it's not something that you want to keep on your skin. If you keep it on for probably like 10 minutes or more, it's going to start. It is acid. It's going to start eating away at your skin, and you'll probably get the equivalent of like a sunburn, if it's kept on for an extended period of time.
It's worse than that. It's a chemical burn. It'll damage
exactly
your skin. Yeah.
And he says the same thing about the stream. He says, we can go in the stream, at least, in the places that we've been able to explore. And he kind of explains that there's a number of rooms in the cave, and they've only been able to go about like one room back in the cave, one or two rooms back. And they expect that it goes back, much, much farther than that. They don't know how toxic it gets outside the farther back they go.
Am I allowed to take samples? I asked Mark and Diane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would expect that everybody here has some type of sample kit. Chris, you would have, whatever. I'm not going to make everybody describe it. Let's just assume that, anything that you would need to do like chemical analysis to geology analysis, anything like that, you would have, small bug catching nets, anything you want to capture. I'm just going to assume that you have it. Additionally, all of you have flashlights as well. Mark kind of, as everybody's putting on their equipment, Mark and Diana go around and kind of inspect it to make sure everything looks okay. Everything seems to be working okay. When Mark, Chad, when Mark gets to you, he kind of, makes sure your equipment goes okay. He kind of looks at you and says, you are going to do some analysis for us, right? You do understand this is not a spring break trip.
I've got plenty of experience with geology, biology, or physics if need be. Just tell me what I need to look at.
Okay, just he says, I tell you what, I'm going to let you figure out what you want to look at least on this initial trip. He kind of looks over at Leo. It says, Leo, we definitely want you looking at the slime to see if we can figure out what its composure is. Chris, there's a lot in there for you to look at. And Diana says, and don't forget, we want to try to figure out where this buzzing is going to come from. We're going to take things slowly. We're not going to go too far, but we want to be careful. And with that, they kind of make sure that their gear is good, and then they start to head into the cave itself.
Right behind him.
Hot on their heels.
So you enter the cave, and the like I said, the stream exits the cave. The stream is flowing out from the cave. It kind of goes along the side of the entrance, and so there's a good probably 15 feet or so of room for you to walk in. But as you walk into the cave, the first room that you're in opens up into this very, very large room that's kind of, it's somewhat flat. There's a lot of like loose rock on the floor. There are some stalactites, but you do see there are some like I said, there is some loose rock, especially around the stream. The room itself is probably a good 200 to 300 feet long and wide. It's kind of this big oval shape. From the room itself, there are two exits to the room other than the entrance that you came in from. There's one to the south and then one to the west. We'll say that you kind of came in from the east if you're trying to map this out. The one thing that you do here as soon as you walk into the cave, you could hear this a little bit on the outside of the cave, but it was kind of hard because of all the noises from the jungle. But as soon as you enter the cave, you absolutely hear this buzzing sound. It seems to be like reverberating from the walls. You just really because of the echoing in the cave itself, you just can't tell where it's coming from. The last thing I'll say is the stream itself. I said there were two exits from this room, to the south and to the west. The stream kind of flows through the west exit into whatever room is beyond there. Again, there's no light other than your flashlights, so you can't really see far into any of those rooms just due to their distance.
Is that bugs, Leo?
Yeah, I know there's a bunch of midges. Could it be midges?
I don't think midges usually make that. And I was doing some reading. I don't even think they said they have cave crickets, but maybe they're further in. Does this sound organic?
Like cicadas?
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a biology roll.
May I do the same?
Sure. Yeah, and if you can, if you have biology, actually everybody should have at least a base. You can go ahead and roll.
27 under 70 for a hard success.
Awesome.
29 under 30 for a regular success.
Nice. Chad is surprising everyone.
I succeeded as well.
Awesome. So for those who make it, and especially you, Leo, it's definitely organic. It's not something that like you don't believe it's the stream. It kind of has this insect-like quality to it. The thing that stands out to you is that the buzzing is not consistent. It's not like it's a constant buzz. It seems to rise and fall. I'm sorry, Leo, you got a hard success, right?
Yes, a hard success.
Okay, so you haven't really heard anything like this before. It sounds very much like insects, but you can't place it, and just the rise and fall of the buzzing. It sounds weird, and this thought enters your mind and then quickly leaves it because it's too ridiculous to even think it. It almost sounds like maybe like if the bugs were talking to each other, it's like a conversation, but you've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, I'm listening to it. That's for certain biological of some degree. I think we might be dealing with some sort of cave cricket type thing, and these might be like mating calls of some kind. And this is their environment, the cave. Oh, this is fascinating to think of something that could live down here like this.
Definitely a new species. Hey, that means we get to name it, right?
Well, I think actually Diana would be the one that would get first dibs. Although Chad, funding goes a long way there.
Got you covered.
So it's not mechanical or physical that you can think of. I was kind of wondering if the chemical working on the walls might be causing some sort of weird bubbling reaction, but it does sound like bugs.
And as you're either saying that or looking at that, you all do see that, kind of coating the walls, dripping off of, either the walls or the stalactites are, these snotites, for lack of a better term. And it really does, not to be too disgusting, but it really does look like somebody like sneezed on the wall. One of you, as you're walking through, your foot starts to slip, and you catch yourself really quickly, and you look down, and there's like this big like mat of this stuff on the floor, the flimball mats, and it is actually very slippery. It's very white. In nature and in color, and it does look unusual. The way that it was described to you is very similar to what you're seeing.
Okay, dudes, are you thinking what I'm thinking? This is like schmegma. I mean, it's like ew.
Yeah.
This is where all the local natives come in.
No, Pete, this is totally natural. It's really exciting the way these form. Let me explain it to you.
I mean, to be fair, smegma also very natural.
And it stings.
I'll be honest, now I can't stop thinking about it, Pete.
Now, since I mean, this is a lot of sulfur in the earth and sulfurous gas, and all of these insects or whatever's in here, these got to be extremophiles, right? They probably can't live out in the jungle. And vice versa.
You do see some bats in this room, or evidence of bats in this room. Anybody looking into the stream, every once in a while you can see a fish swim by, even though it's very opaque where we're here. So at least in this room, you suspect that the gases are not that toxic, and in fact, we'll say that everybody would have like this little like meter to show you how toxic the air is. It's breathable in here. You could take off your equipment and breathe in here. It would probably be uncomfortable, and it would smell really bad. Even with the equipment on, you can still kind of smell it. Yeah, you kind of get it in your throat. So it's not unusual it would not be unusual for animals to only live in here. But the farther back in the cave you get, that's where it would probably be more unique animals.
My guess too is that you might find an area in here deeper down with a whole bunch of animal carcasses that wandered in here and died because of the toxic,
That's good fuel, though. If there is something that's adapted, perhaps it lives off that sort of thing.
So I turned to Professor Boston's like, where's the portions of the caves that hasn't been explored? Because that's where I want to get pictures of.
Sure. So she says, so we've been in the rooms beyond here, but the rooms beyond that is where we have started to kind of get into where we haven't been able to explore. That's where it starts to get really toxic. In the next rooms, you'll be able to see that it gets pretty bad in there. And fortunately, the equipment, she kind of looks at her gauge. Equipment seems to be working so far. She kind of looks at everyone and asks, "Is everyone doing okay?" She seems to be very concerned about all this.
Okay, Doc.
The gases aren't flammable, are they?
No.
Okay. Just because we're gonna have to set up some lights if you're gonna want to take some pictures.
Yeah, I lean into Pete. I'm like these rooms that have never been photographed. That's our funding for Africa, Pete.
Just gotta watch that there's spooge everywhere.
I mean, I'll take a little to get a lot.
Okay, let's Or we'll have to wear this to rebreathe. So are we going to do that today, or are we going to do that tomorrow?
Yeah, no, she says, we're gonna at least go one more room. She kind of you've only been in this room for like maybe a half an hour. So she says, we want to I want to go as far as we can, just to see how things go. She says, Mark and I have been here before. We know what the next rooms are. So you all choose which room you want to go to. The room to the east or west, or the room to the south.
Which room is most spectacular? I see it's going to take me about 15 or 20 minutes.
I think we should follow the water.
It's flowing into the west, and that would mean its source is from the north.
She says we've actually never found the source. So
the water's flowing out of the cave, not into the cave.
Out of the cave, yes.
Yeah, I would love to follow the water to further.
Sure.
I mean, we may not be able to get to its source, but yeah, I'd like to go west.
Awesome. So she says, okay. And everybody slowly starts to head that direction. Then the room to the west, you're kind of following the stream, opens, it kind of narrows into, maybe about a 20-foot opening, and then opens up into another room. This other room is a lot rockier than the other. You still have all of the snodites. You still have all the phlegm ball mats all over the floor. So you do have to be careful as you're going. The stream in this room, this room is a little bit smaller than the previous room. It's probably about 150 feet or so in circumference. But when you walk in, you see that the stream goes through this room and it kind of branches off. It looks like the stream, or not like it branches off. It definitely branches off where it continues off into the west down a tunnel that way, or to the south through this very, very narrow tunnel. In order to go down that tunnel, you suspect that you would have to, not suspect, you would have to actually go into the water, and the tunnel that it goes through is maybe about 2 to 3 feet wide. Looking around the room, at least from the initial glances, it looks very similar to the other room. Rocky, the stream here. So what would you all like to do while you're in here?
Well, I'm gonna look around to see if there's something that would make a good photo, and point Justin there, where.
Yeah, I think I want to focus on where the stream's kind of coming into the room, and
okay.
Get Pete.
So I'm going to set up some lights and some reflectors.
Yeah. Start setting that up.
Okay. It takes you.
Go ahead.
No, it takes you a couple minutes to get all that set up. You are able to find a couple places in the room that would be good to take pictures of, especially where the stream kind of branches out. And when I say branch, what I mean is the stream kind of flows together into this room, into the main stream that you saw before. The smell of sulfur is definitely, even with your masks on, it is pretty prevalent in the masks. And you look at your gauges, and you could technically breathe in this room, but it's kind of like on that border of almost being too toxic. And in fact, that the farther you go into the room, the more toxic the air is.
Did we bring any cave diving equipment?
Like diving underwater type thing?
Yeah, because it sounds like some of these, right, we'd be getting into the water, but not submerged completely.
Yeah, the stream itself is probably about 2 to 3 feet deep. So at most, maybe waist high, at least for where everybody has gone. Diana, has told, and Mark have told you that it is very possible that, the source of this is like an underground lake or something, or, you may get to a point where in order to explore farther into it, you would have to, go cave diving. But she says that's probably that was not expected for this trip. So, and your masks definitely are not waterproof. So you can't really dive with them.
Right. I mean, if it's just waist deep, Leo, we could, just wander through, and maybe it'll damage our pants. But I'm going to take samples, anything that looks interesting, make sure I know where they're at, to write it down in my field book. Maybe take a sample of the water as well. for future comparison.
I can help you analyze some of that stuff when we get back.
I'll assist
Great.
in the samples.
Great.
Awesome.
Same for Leo.
All right.
Like,
So you start gathering samples of the water, the rocks, probably the slime as well, so you can do some analysis on that. And Diana and Mark are in this room as well, kind of doing their own analysis, kind of looking around. They've been here before, but this is a very unique experience. So this is kind of like Disneyland for them. No matter how many times you go, it's always a great experience. Pete and Justin, give me spot hidden rolls.
That is a 32. I could spend 2 if I need to get to a hard.
No.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
regular too.
Okay. Both of you also give me sanity checks.
Okay.
59. Oh, that is a fail.
I've also failed that.
All right, so you both lose 1 sanity. As you're setting up and taking pictures around the room, you're taking pictures of everything that you can in this room. With the snoutites, the stream, and all that.
Right.
And you kind of get to just beyond where the stream kind of converges together, and it's roughly the center of the room. So you're kind of on the west side of the stream, and you're looking down, trying to get some good pictures of the stream. And you see a footprint in the kind of the wet, gravelly, like dirt there, but it's not a like human footprint. It almost looks like a cloven goat footprint.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah.
Devil's Cave. Look.
Uh,
I'll shine the light down.
take
for
a-
you.
yeah.
Are there
Take a look.
goats native to this cave?
The rest of you can give me sanity checks as well as you come over and see this. 0 if you make it, 1 if you fail. There are goats native to the area, but Leo, as you look at the hoof print, for lack of a better term, you've never seen a goat this large. It's probably a good, maybe 8 inches long and 4 or 5 inches wide. It's really, really large.
this is incredible, and he's kind of flustered by it, having failed his sanity roll. I mean, I've heard of deer and goats in the area, but nothing of this size, and you wouldn't expect it here.
Could it
Is
be a
it going
fluke?
somewhere?
Could it just be a fluke?
Could be like a goat stepped and slid and made it longer.
Maybe one of the locals came in here and made it look like that.
Or just a
Yeah.
rock fell and killed whatever slime goo.
We'd
Are there
expect
more
to
than
see
one
bodies, though.
footprint?
You only see the one. It's kind of on the edge of the water, but if the orientation of it, if something were walking through the cave, it would have been walking towards the room you just came from, coming from probably the tunnel to the west outside of out of this room.
So going towards the west.
Going towards the east, so towards the
and
entrance
coming
of the
from
cave,
the west.
from farther into the cave.
How biblical.
That creek going into the room to the south is looking a little better to me.
What you? No, I
really
want to
do.
see what this is. This is fascinating.
Get some good light on this, Pete. You're doing a great job.
yeah,
A little bit more. All right. Get a couple
Patronizing.
shots of it.
I mean,
Not
Leo,
patronizing you. You're
this
doing
is
great, Pete.
wrong. This is so wrong. I mean, what is this thing? It's weird. It's strange.
El Diablo walks among us.
Chupacabra lives here, sucking the goats.
I mean, it could be a blood-based creature out of here, but I mean, anything that could survive down there, maybe it just comes out to feed on things. Maybe it's a
Is it more
genetic
likely
abnormality.
Is it just likely some animal walked in here and either got out or died?
Probably just a goat with a big hoof. Big hoof. Yeah.
Where the footprint is, it is very toxic there. To where if you took off your mask, you would probably be coughing and choking a little bit.
Can I reshine the light so that it shines deeper into the area behind where the hoof would be?
Yeah.
Can we see how big of a room it is?
The room from where you're at, where the kind of the footprint is, maybe goes back about 10 or 15 feet to the wall. There's a tunnel to the kind of a little bit north of the wall right there that leads off to the west, and then like I said, the tunnel to the south, and the streams kind of come from both of those tunnels. So it's fairly close to the tunnel that leads deeper into the west.
Okay. I'll admit to you all that I'm a little unnerved by seeing this, whatever it is. If I shined the lights in there and I saw a couple of glowing red eyes looking back at me, I'd be on the first airplane back to Boston.
I mean, if it's truly adapted to cave, it might not have any eyes at all. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, that'd be weird and scary. Yeah.
That'd be worse.
Sorry, Deanna, are we finished with this room? Can we keep going? I'm terrified, but also intrigued.
Well, how much time do we have?
You've probably been in this room for a good 45 minutes, doing your analysis and all that. But as you're all are kind of, taking pictures of this and looking at it, everybody give me a listen roll.
16.
07, which
That's
is
hard.
All right. So those
mine's extreme.
okay.
I got a 99.
I got a 96, which is a fumble.
All right, so both Chris and Chad, you are both just completely entranced by this. You're getting close down to it. Chad, you've never. I mean, you've taken science classes before enough to kind of get where you're at, but this is just like opening up a new world to you. It's kind of blowing your minds, and so because of that, you are both just totally paying attention to this. Nothing else. Leo, you said you failed, correct? And then Pete and Justin, you passed.
Yeah, I got an extreme.
Great. So Leo, you're kind of glancing over Chris and Chad's shoulders, trying to get a closer look at this. I mean, you're the biologist. You're the one who should be looking at this. But the three of you are really just paying attention to this. Pete and Justin, you hear as everybody's looking at this, you hear a splash coming from farther towards the entrance to the room that you came from, and you both glance up and you see that Mark has fallen into the stream, and you can see that he has fallen in and he's lying face down in the stream.
Oh
Mark.
shit! Butterfeet start running over towards
He
him.
might have hit his head on a rock.
What?
Pull him out.
Pull him out.
So you both start going over there. Both of you give me dexterity checks because it is a little slippery in here.
Failed that.
Fail.
All right, so you both are kind of clamoring to get over to there. It's very slippery. The slime is all over the floor. There's loose rock. You do make it over to him, but you both kind of fallen and take a point of damage from kind of hitting the rocks as you go down. You get to Mark. As you get there, you do see that he's kind of lying face down in that milky white water, and there is around his head there is kind of a stream of red flowing from it. It does look like he might have hit his head as he fell.
Shit. Yeah,
Pull him out. Pull him out.
Yeah, get him pulled
He's
out.
going to drown. Is he
Laid
breathing?
out.
You start to pull him out. The other three of you, what are you doing as they kind of by this point you've seen this?
Are they to where they are, where they're picking up Mark? Is there like a slope or anything, or are they just like across the room?
The cave itself is fairly flat. It does slope down slightly as you go farther and farther into the cave, but it is fairly flat. So it's more like they're across the room.
So I look at Diane. I'm like, what happened? Did he slip? What happened?
She's just like, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. And you pull him out and you can see that his mask has kind of started to fill up with water. Again, the masks are not waterproof.
Right.
And his face is like beet red. He's got a gash on his head. She's like, we need to get him out. We need to get him out.
Yeah. Is he? Is he
we gotta
breathing?
get out of
Is
the
he
cave.
conscious?
He is breathing. He is conscious, but just barely.
Okay, we got to.
Does
get
that
him out of
wound
the
look
cave.
like it needs first aid?
It
towel
definitely
him
looks
off.
like it needs
Yeah.
first aid.
Well, we got to get him out of the sulfur room. So.
Yeah, I start dragging him out.
Okay.
You know,
Is anybody going to help him?
Yeah,
Help
oh,
Justin?
Yeah.
Do we have to drag him, or is he able to? Can we prop him up and he can help walk?
You could probably, like, if both of you got on either side of him, you could put his arms around you and kind of drag him, or like fireman carry him out.
I do start dragging him
Yeah.
until P points out that we can, arm over each shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. You start heading out. You get out into the entrance and then out to the outside of the cave. The rest of you, what are you doing?
Looking for first aid kit.
Okay.
Trying to do what I can.
got one in the pack.
Leo, Chris, and Chad, the three of you, give me listen rolls.
I succeeded this time.
Okay. And Leo failed. Chad, what about you?
I could spend 10 points of luck if it's necessary.
That's up to you. Or you could push it.
I think I'll just take 10 luck and pass.
Okay. So Chris and Chad, you as you are kind of following them, and Diana, as they're pulling Mark out of the cave, you notice that the buzzing has stopped. The rest of you pull Mark out of the cave. The Leo or Chris, somebody said that they were going for a first aid kit. You absolutely have a first aid kit. Once you get out into the fresh air, you kind of Diana pulls off Mark's mask. He's coughing a little bit from the water that had started to fill up his mask. And he kind of sits down. He is conscious now. And then, somebody can, absolutely do first aid if they want.
I've got bottled water too, so we can, if he's got a cut on his head, we can wash that out.
Okay. You pour the water on it. Once you start doing that and start bandaging up, it doesn't look that bad. And Mark he's kind of holding his head. It's very tender. He's like, oh, what happened? I was standing on the edge of the stream, and then the next thing I know, I was underwater.
You must have slipped and hit your head.
Yeah, you got to tell us. We don't know what happened.
Shoot, we should have checked out the edge of the stream there to see.
Everything is slippery in there.
Just step on a cave booger.
He's like, I must have. I must have. Kind of slipped on the edge of the cave and fell and hit my head. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry we had this happen. And by this time, whoever's doing first aid, you've kind of stopped you've kind of stopped the bleeding. He seems to be doing okay. It's obviously very tender. He's probably going to have a headache, but from what you can tell, actually, go ahead and make a first aid roll. Or
I just did. Yeah, I
Okay.
passed.
Okay.
He doesn't look like he has a concussion or anything.
No, it doesn't look like that. You can even see where he's starting to get like a goose egg bump on his head, but nothing that would indicate that there's a concussion. You've probably taken first aid classes. You're kind of looking at his eyes, shining the lights into his eyes. Everything seems to be normal. It was just a bad fall where he hit his head.
Does his rebreather look functional? Is it maybe it's like a lack of oxygen? if his rebreather wasn't working.
Go ahead and if you want to check it out, go ahead and either give me an engineering or a mechanical repair roll, whichever.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that it's still working. We don't want to be down one of these.
Yeah, I can definitely take a look at it. He turns it over a few times in his hands, realizing quickly that he has no idea what he's doing. It completely fails.
Here, give it to me. Let me look.
Yes.
Part of what I do is repair. So, yeah, that's a pass on mechanical.
The straps look kind of a little bit worn, just from where he fell, and it looks like it may have like gotten stretched a little bit, but it looks like it's still functional.
Okay, it looks like it's still functional. Diane, should we call it quits for the day, or?
She goes, yeah. She looks at her watch. She's this whole time she's been kind of fussing over Mark, making sure he's okay. She's like, yeah, it's kind of getting late, a little bit late. Why don't we head back? Let's call it a day. I think we made good progress, despite what happened.
Give me 20 minutes to collect all of the equipment.
Okay.
Get it restowed.
Yeah,
I go back in the cave.
I go in with Pete.
Okay. You got.
Yeah, I'll go in. I'll go in with the photographers. I'm the one who understands caves best.
Okay.
I'll go in as well to make sure that our good friend who fell unconscious did not drop anything that we need to bring out.
Okay. Yeah. You're able to collect your gear without an issue. He did. He probably would have dropped some of his gear when that happened, so you're able to collect that as well. For those of you who had passed the listen roll before, it was Chad and Chris, right? Yeah. So the buzzing has definitely stopped. I'm not.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Have you? Are you going to point that out?
Hey guys, notice the quiet?
And as you all go in, you kind of hear the stream, the babbling of the stream, and that's it. The buzzing has definitely stopped.
That
Hey,
makes
Leo,
sense.
Did we make enough racket that we scared the bugs?
That's got to be it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were yelling for Mark. It's got to be that. Which is great. That means it's biological. It's some insect or something. This is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely
aside
not
from
some chemical.
Yeah. I can't believe we have to go home tonight. What a bummer. What a bummer.
We're coming back in the morning. We'll have all day tomorrow because we'll be here early.
Yeah, let's get an early start. I really want to get further in.
Are there any precautions that we should take when we come in now that we've seen the cave? I wish we brought spiked shoes. We're trying to dig into the. Maybe we should harness. I don't know. Think about what we could do to make it a little safer.
Are we wearing helmets like they traditionally do, or is this not? Yeah, is this not considered difficult enough?
Give me luck rolls for that. This probably would not have been considered that, and with the way that the helmets fit, or not the helmets, the rebreathers fit over your face, it's probably difficult to wear the traditional kind of gear like that.
Failure on my luck roll.
Okay, then I'm going to say with that, probably you probably would not have brought that. It was probably deemed not necessary, and it's unlikely that anybody in town would have something like that. You're able to gather your equipment, start heading back to the hotel. Diana says that you all have about an hour or so to clean up, and then the mayor had invited you to dinner that night for you to head over. So if anybody would like to do anything,
just before we leave, I'm kind of curious just to look around the general area outside the cave.
Okay.
If there are any giant goat prints.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a spot hidden roll.
I will join him.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to do that?
Yeah.
I failed miserably.
Success, just regular.
All right. And Chad, did you pass?
No.
Okay. You, all three of you, you're looking around. You don't find anything like that. Leo, you do find some footprints, but it's kind of like the native animals that you would expect to find in the jungle around there. Probably, the equivalent of like I have to imagine there's probably like lizards and rabbits and things like mice, rats, things like that around the area. You find evidence of that, but nothing like a goat or anything like that.
Sorry, yeah. Unless it can fly, I don't see where it would have come out.
You said earlier that this was like a rock that just came out of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible? Can I look at the rock and see if there's like any established game trails on the rock or anything like that? Like, I don't know.
Sure. I guess give me if you want to. I don't know if this would be tracking or natural history. Any of those.
Natural world.
Natural world. Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, you don't see anything like that, and the jungle around the cave entrance it gets pretty thick. There's not like there's a path around the cave entrance itself that you can see. So you probably do find evidence of animals, but nothing like a game trail through the forest or anything like that. All right, you head back. Does anybody want to do anything special other than kind of get cleaned up and ready for?
No, just get cleaned up and ready.
Right.
I'm going to make an inquiry. Go ahead.
Did you say the mayor invited us for dinner?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely want to go. I mean, he's the one who said this is cursed, and then we see this weird footprint and Mark falls and hurts himself.
I'm going to check with hotel security. Either I'm going to stay here at the hotel while they all get to go to the party, or I want to see if they have like a large safe, secure safe where we can put the equipment where nobody can get to it.
Well, there's the hotel clerk. Her name is Maria. That is the closest thing to security that the hotel has. She does tell you that they do have a safe. So your individual rooms do not have safes, right. But they do have a safe, but it's not. How big are you looking for? Are you looking like a gun safe type size, or
put the whole backpack in there? It's got all of our expensive equipment.
You know what? Yeah, I'll say that they do have a safe of that size that they can store things in. Mark does say that he's got a headache. He just wants to rest, so he is going to stay back at the hotel.
Okay.
Instead of going to dinner.
All right. So if Justin agrees, then I'll put all the stuff, the expensive stuff in there. I don't have to put the lights and all that stuff. So
yeah, put the cameras in there.
Cameras
the lights can stay with Mark.
All right.
I should probably tell you too. Your doors to your hotel rooms do lock. Not the most secure locks in the world, though.
Yeah, and the windows are open to the outside to let in the cool evening breeze.
Right.
And the iguanas and the koalas and the little lizards and the birds and the snakes.
So after you all get cleaned up, it sounded like everybody was going to the mayor's house. Is that correct? Awesome.
Yeah.
So Diana leads you. Again, you have to walk. In order to get to the mayor's house, it's about a 20-minute walk, and it's actually past the path to the cave. So you walk the path to the cave was, I think I said, was about 10 minutes outside of town. His house is about another 10 minutes past that. You walk down the road. As you start walking down, it is you. By the time you get there, it's about dusk, and you about 10 minutes past the path to the cave, you see a driveway that leads off of the side of the the road, the dirt road. The driveway is kind of filled with this like granite gravel. There's a fence or a gate there that has been opened up for you, and it takes you a good 5 minutes or so to walk down the driveway. And as you kind of walk, it kind of snakes around a little bit. It does a little bit of a curve. And of course, you're surrounded by jungle on both sides. And then it goes straight, and you can see in front of you this very, very large house, very out of place for what you've seen in the village so far. It's a one level. If you had to categorize it, you kind of would you kind of compare it to like a ranch style house. Yeah. Right, but it's very, very large, and there is a very nice SUV in the front, a brand new SUV truck in the driveway. Not the same one you saw before from the sheriff. This is probably the mayor's. And Diana kind of leads you up onto the porch, opens up the front door, or rings the doorbell, and then the front door opens up as these double doors made of this very nice like oak opens up. And the mayor is there, and he smiles and greets you and says, please come in. You're just in time. And the first thing that happens as he opens the doors is you get hit with two things. First is the smell of just some amazing cooked food that's cooking, and air conditioning. And it like true air conditioning, almost like the sweat on your the skin starts to get cold just from the air coming out. And he invites you all on, please come in.
Nice.
You all walk in. He shuts the front door behind you, and you walk into this very large kind of open floor plan living room / dining room / kitchen. You can see a hallway that leads off into the down into the house, and glancing down there are a couple doors, one of which is open. You can tell it's a bathroom, but there's 3 doors that are closed. The kitchen itself is very nice, granite countertops, very expensive looking cabinets, top of the line appliances. The living room area, it has a very large couch, a big screen HD TV with probably the latest soccer football game playing on.
Telemundo.
And the looking outside, you can see this very large porch on the back with this very long table set up, all these lights kind of set up. And he invites everybody to make yourselves at home. There's a bar that's fully stocked there. He invites everybody to get a drink, have some appetizers. He says, I'm still making the food. It'll be a couple minutes. We're waiting on another guest, but please make yourself at home.
Do you care if I get some pictures of your home? It's really nice. Just
Oh, no, please. Absolutely. Feel free to go in the backyard around here. Yeah, absolutely. Make yourselves at home. I would absolutely love to have my house featured, in somewhere at some point.
It's a beautiful home. So I'll go out front and kind of get pictures of the front, just
cameras are back at the hotel.
Oh,
but you can use the cell phone.
I will check my phone and see if there are Wi-Fi networks.
There absolutely is. There is a Wi-Fi network, and if you ask, he gives you the password to the Wi-Fi network. And he's got pretty good internet access for being out in the middle of the jungle. You kind of like broadband, speeds. Very, very unusual.
I will tweet about day one. Upload my selfies.
Yeah, I reach for a camera from Pete, and Pete reminds me.
I hand you my cell phone.
I look at it. I look up at Chad. I'm like, no, Pete. and give it back to Pete.
10 megapixels. It should, yeah. Sorry, we locked them up.
No, it's fine. They're where they need to be. I just had a moment there.
I just sit down with my bottle of Negro Modelo on the couch watching the football game.
Okay. Does anybody want to do anything else? Anybody who goes into the backyard, it is dusk, so it's starting to get darker and darker. Looking out into the backyard, you can see that there's right off the outside of the back. There's a kind of a porch area with a very long table where you'll be eating. Beyond that is a very large backyard that is pretty open. There's a flower garden, and it goes it kind of butts up against the back of the jungle, or is where it kind of ends up. But it's no swimming pool. Although he does have a hot tub. We'll say he's got a hot tub back there as well. Diana kind of starts making small talk with him, and everybody. It's very relaxing. After about 15 minutes, you hear another car pull up in the driveway. You hear a door close, and a couple seconds later, the front door opens and the sheriff walks in. You immediately recognize him. Both I think it was Leo and Chad. You were the ones who saw him before, so you immediately recognize him. But he's also still wearing his police gear. The rest of you, those seeing him, he's a very tall, well-built man. He very muscular. He walks in. Diana looks at him, immediately recognizes him, smiles, and goes over to kind of give him a hug and start talking to him. And she introduces him as Ricardo Garza, the local sheriff. And he looks at each of you, and he manages probably the best that he can do for a smile. He seems like he's a very, you get the impression that he's probably not the friendliest of people, just by what you've seen of him so far.
So I'm going to find a spot to sit in the air conditioning, because I've been working all day. So if there's drinks, I'll take a drink and just relax.
Absolutely. He's pretty much got anything that you would want. So top of the line alcohol, like top shelf liquor. He's got beer, wine. So anything that anybody wants, you're able to get for the most part.
I'm just taking pulls off the flask, walking around, stick my head in the kitchen. Any young, attractive, our age, male or females in there?
No, it's just the mayor. In fact, you have not seen anybody else here.
Okay.
You kind of get the impression that he lives here by himself.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, you don't see. You would definitely kind of notice this. Any pictures on the wall. You and Pete would probably notice this. Any pictures on the walls or anything like that are more of like landscapes or pictures of the area. There's no like family pictures or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Leo is gonna head over by the garden-ish
Okay.
kind of area. He's curious what kind of things he has there. If it's a like a chef's garden or a garden for looks. And I mean, if he sees a bat or two, he wouldn't say no.
Okay.
It's getting dusk time.
Go ahead and give me a spot hidden roll.
And O2 is looking good.
I would say so. So you go back to the garden, and the garden is kind of a mix. It's definitely a chef's garden. You see herbs and stuff that are growing. You do see like some vegetables in there, like tomatoes and other things like that. It's also a kind of a garden with lots of flowers in it. You do recognize some of these flowers as not really rare flowers, but not flowers that are native to the area. So it would have cost some money in order to get those. But as you're back there, kind of looking at the garden, and the garden itself is probably about, maybe about 2/3 of the way into the yard. You didn't see this from the house, probably because it was getting too dark, but you do notice that there does appear to be like a path into the jungle from the mayor's house in the back of his yard. But you can't see into it. It is definitely too dark to do that. As you see that, and everybody in the house, the mayor says, "Please, everybody, the food is ready. Please go out onto the back porch, and we can begin our meal and our celebration."
Gracias.
Everybody goes out. Yeah, perfect. As you're all heading out, let's see here. Everybody give me a luck roll.
16 on 56.
22 on 70.
Okay. Leo, what did you roll?
3 on 50.
Oh, geez. Okay. And Chris?
I luck roll? Is that what you said? Yeah, I passed. 62, 65.
Okay. So Leo, you are the last one to kind of leave. Everybody else kind of files out. The mayor is behind you. He's gathering some food, and you kind of turn around just to say, "Hey, do you need any help?" Kind of trying to be polite to your host, and you notice that he's kind of staring. He's kind of walked part way out of the kitchen. He's holding a thing of food, and he's staring down the hallway. The hallway that leads deeper into the house, just kind of staring there. And give me a psychology roll.
You're muted.
83 over 30.
Okay. You can't quite tell what's going on. He's kind of looking there. You kind of get the impression that he almost has this unusual, almost like fearful look on his face, but that's really the extent that you can tell. And almost immediately he kind of jerks back, looks at you, smiles. He starts walking with the food. Says, "Please come out." It kind of leads you out there.
Of course. Thanks. And he's kind of casting that weird glance down the hallway of like, what's that?
You're able to look down the hallway as you're walking out. You get a glance and you don't see anything. It's just there are lights on in the hallway. You don't see anyone there. You see, like I said, the bathroom door. So it's kind of a description of the hallway. It goes to the back of the house. There are the first door on the right is going to be the bathroom. You all would have seen that. There is a door at the end of the hallway that's closed, and then a door on the left and a door on the right that's also closed. But you come outside. Everybody sits down, and the sheriff is there. Diana's there. She's kind of making small talk with him. She's talking to him, but he's kind of, not really answering. He kind of, one word answers, things like that. And the mayor kind of sits at the end of the table. He looks at all of you and smiles and says, "I'd like to welcome everybody here to, your expedition to our wonderful cave." And he kind of stops and looks around and almost like he's mentally counting everyone and says, We're missing somebody. Where's Mark at?
He wasn't feeling well. He had to stay behind at the hotel.
Oh, I hope he's not sick. Nothing happened today, did it? He's okay, right?
Yeah, just said he wasn't up for dinner.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad everything is okay. He kind of chuckles to himself and says, our cave has a little bit of its own history with it. It has its own dangers, and he kind of points to Diane and says, and our sheriff here is aware as well. And the sheriff gets a gruff look on his face. He kind of furrows his brow a little bit.
Yeah, we saw in the paper that there was a missing tourist, and you called the cave that the cave has cursed, that it's a acid dripping hell.
Yes, he says, maybe those weren't the best words, but I'm from this area. I've lived in this village my entire life. Call me superstitious, but I do believe in the legends and the folklore of the cave. I won't lie. I tried to dissuade Diana from going into the cave, but obviously that can't. I was not successful, and he kind of gives a half smile.
And you said there's a devil living in the cave?
Yes. Have you all not heard the legend?
No.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Okay. So then he kind of looks at Chad and says, and so the legend says that the devil lives in the cave. The cave is an entryway to hell. And you've been in there. You can see the acid dripping and the smell of sulfur. How could one deny that? And as he's doing this, Diana is she's kind of smiling and nodding along, like she's being gracious to the host. But the sheriff, he kind of lets out this snort and says, that's not what this is, and you know it. He says, the whole place is dangerous. Nobody should be in there. And he looks at Diane and says, you all should not be going there. I'm sorry, but if I could close down, the tourists from entering that cave, I would. We don't need anybody else to go missing.
Well, if I can interject there, we're not really tourists. We're not haphazardly just exploring things. We're scientists. I'm not a scientist, but we're scientists. And, you point out that the cave is hell. To most things, it would be hell. It would be a death trap. But we're interested because there are things living in the cave. And that's kind of interesting that things can live in that environment that would kill normal animals. That's what we're interested in.
The sheriff says, regardless, we've had too many disappearances in the area. We've had too many people who've tried to go into the cave. I don't care how well prepared you are. I'm sorry. I can't allow this. And his face is as he's saying this, his voice is getting more and more red, and he is getting more and more agitated. He says, if I could, I would do anything that I could to stop everybody from going into that cave. We need to close it down. It's too dangerous.
How many have disappeared?
Too many. We've had a disappearance. The last one was a couple weeks ago. We've searched for them, and it happens. Mayor, you've seen this. It happens, too often, where somebody comes and thinks that this is just a nature walk to go into the jungle or go into the cave, and they end up disappearing. It happens too much. We need to shut down the cave. This is it.
Did this tourist go to the cave, or did he just go out into the jungle? Seems to me that the jungle's just as deadly, even more so. It's everywhere.
He says you're absolutely right. The jungle is just as deadly, and because of that, again, nobody should be going here. This is not a tourist attraction. This is not like somebody going to the local park or anything like that. Whether or not you believe in the legend, which I don't, but regardless, it's too dangerous for even all of you.
Well, I think that we'd all agree with you about tourists, but like I said, we're not really tourists. There's things that you have to understand, that in places like that, we're encountering extremophiles that are able to live in those environments what we might discover might change medicine and science and so many things in the future. It might cure cancer for all we know. It's worth the risk, and we're willing to take the risk, but we're being careful.
With that, the sheriff kind of slams his hands down, stands up, and kind of points his finger at you and says, "You might be willing to take the risk, but you're not the one who has to clean up after things when they inevitably go awry. I'm sorry." He looks at the mayor. And says,
I am the one who has to clean up when things go awry.
he looks at the mayor and Diana and says, I'm sorry, but I can't stand by and allow you all to hurt yourselves. I expect me back tomorrow to prevent you from going if I can. I am going to go and see if I can get the authority to do that. And with that, he kind of throws up his hands and kind of storms off. And with that is where we'll end for today.
Cool. Our players included Sham Sabin, Steve Anderson, Kent Blue, Nathan Decker, and myself, with Tyler Hudak as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.